Because of the unpredictability of the current economic climate, even a minor setback can cause your budget to deviate from its established course. When you are faced with unexpected costs, car repairs, or sudden gaps in income, you may find yourself scrambling to find a solution. These are the situations in which cash advance applications such as Empower come into play. These apps provide a speedy and seemingly handy solution to bridge the gap until your next paycheck arrives. Before you commit to obtaining an Empower cash advance, it is essential to have a thorough understanding of the procedures, potential benefits, and hidden expenses associated with the process. Unlike typical payday loans, which are renowned for their excessive costs and exploitative methods, Empower markets itself as an alternative kind of financial assistance. The following is an explanation of how cash advances from Empower operate. Empower provides advances ranging from $10 to $250. Eligibility. In contrast to conventional loans, Empower does not inquire about the borrower's credit history. Instead, they evaluate your eligibility by looking at your associated bank account and taking into consideration your salary as well as your banking historical information. Typically, the repayment will take place on the next payday that is planned to take place. The amount of the advance, including with applicable costs, will be automatically deducted from the account that is linked to Empower. In spite of the fact that Empower is known for its no credit check policy, there are still a few obstacles to overcome. You must be at least 18 years old. When it comes to financial products, this is a commonly accepted legal necessity. A bank account that meets the requirements. At a minimum, your account must be at least 30 days old and receive deposits on a consistent basis. Because of this, Empower is able to evaluate the consistency of your revenue. Satisfy the prerequisites for income. Despite the fact that exact income thresholds are not made available to the public, Empower examines your financial activities to assess whether or not you are able to repay the advance without difficulty. It is important to be aware of the following fees, despite the fact that Empower markets itself as a more responsible alternative. Expenses for instant delivery. Do you require the money right away? With instant delivery, there is a cost associated with the option. In addition, Empower gives you the opportunity to leave a gratuity for the service that you received. Remember that this is an additional expense, even though it can appear to be generous. Moreover, there are a few other aspects to take into consideration. Flexibility in terms of payback. In contrast to other cash advance apps that offer a variety of repayment choices, Empower typically require repayment to be made on your subsequent payday. In situations where you are dealing with a significant revenue difference, this can be an issue. Influence on any future developments. Your ability to borrow more money in the future with Empower can be increased if you make repayments on time and consistently. Having said that, payments that are late can have a negative influence on your eligibility for future advances. In times of crisis, empowering cash advances can be a useful tool, particularly for individuals who have limited access to regular forms of conventional lending. On the other hand, it is very necessary to approach them with caution. Efficient use of resources. Take into account the whole cost of the advance, which can include both fees and tips. What about the cost compared to, for instance, an overdraft fee at the bank? Repayment planning in the budget. Make certain that you will be able to repay the advance on the due date without putting more strain on your financial resources. By establishing a safety net rather than relying on frequent cash transfers, you might think about establishing an emergency fund to meet any bills that may arise unexpectedly. In the event that you will be utilizing an Empower cash advance, the following are some guidelines for appropriate use. Do not borrow more than you require. Don't give in to the temptation of exceeding your limit. When you borrow money, be sure it is an amount that you are able to repay on the due date. Examine the available options. Investigate additional choices, such as talking with the company that is responsible for your bills to extend the deadline or applying for a small personal loan from a credit union that has reduced interest rates. In order to break the loop, it is strongly recommended that cash advances from Empower be a one-time solution. Put your attention on accumulating an emergency fund so that you won't have to rely on it in the future. The use of empowering cash advances can be a helpful tool. Nevertheless, they should not be used as a basis for financial support. You will be able to make an educated decision regarding whether or not an Empower cash advance is the appropriate solution for accommodating your short-term financial demands if you have a thorough understanding of the requirements, fees, and potential problems. When it comes to long-term financial well-being, it is important to keep in mind that sensible budgeting and the establishment of an emergency fund are more durable alternatives.